Welcome to SpotboyE Podcast Season 1. On the podcast today, we discuss a different breed of Khan who has charmed everyone with her confidence, looks, and talent. But will her debut film be able to charm the audiences? Let's find out on the other side of the podcast. This is SpotboyE Podcast Season 1. Hello and welcome to a fresh episode of SpotboyE Podcast. And talking about freshness, we have a very fresh topic and a very fresh actress at that. We're talking about Sara Ali Khan, the actor that has hit Bollywood like a cyclone, a storm. We'll also talk about her debut film Kedarnath, which is opposite Sushant Singh Rajput. And let's find out if that film creates a storm at box office or amongst the reviewers. And let me just start this discussion off by saying that I was just going through reviews of Kedarnath and somebody very rightly pointed out that this film is Titanic with bad VFX. Vicky, at this point, I'd like to bring you into the conversation. You've seen the film. Let's keep my views for later. Let's start with you. What did you think of it?
See, I don't think anything of that sort, because if you've seen Titanic, yes, I mean, we can never match up to, before we come to Sara Khan, Bollywood has not been able to match up to the Hollywood standards of VFX or CG.
I'm not even talking about the VFX. I'm talking about just the story. I don't know, to spoil.
Yeah.
So there is.
I really like the second half. In fact, the devastation, the way they have shown was really, I mean, something. And the first half was very slow.
Very slow.
And in fact, in the first 45 minutes or 50 minutes, the interval happens, and one thought that kuch hua hi nahi.
Exactly.
But second half was totally on this Uttarakhand tragedy, and I think they did a very good job.
Alright, so let me just ask all of you guys, what did you expect of the film? I know that you guys haven't seen the film, but having just seen the promos and just those horrifying visuals of water coming on and just people being swept away, what are your expectations from the film if you haven't?
I've seen the trailer and post which I saw Coffee with Karan ka episode with Sara. So she's so articulate, she's so confident, and I mean, when you look at Janvi for that matter, even now in Coffee with Karan, she seemed a little, not so sure about herself and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to Sara's performance, because she just comes across as such a confident artist and a person. So regardless of whether Kedarnath is going to work or not, I'm really looking forward to Sara's performance. So which is why I'm going to go for the
Which is why everybody is also talking about Sara being exceptional in the film. But what I felt was that she was failed by the dialogues given to her, by just the story arc that was given to her. Again, Kanika Dillon plays a vital part in this because she has written that character. It just looks like that it's just the remains of Geet from Jab We Met, who has come into this mountain city.
Vicky will be able to throw a lot more light on this. Would that have happened because the film went through so much of a turmoil? Change in producers, a lot of the other off the set controversy that it went through. Could that have impacted the creative process of the film at all, do you think?
I don't think so. I think she did the writer has done a good job. Even if you see the movie, the love story part is very little.
What are you saying? The entire runtime of the movie is about them.
The love story, the way they fall in love.
Which movie have you seen, Vicky? It's the exact opposite. Let me sorry to cut you off.
The way they fall in love is very, I mean,
very 80s, like rich, like small town boy and rich girl.
वो develop नहीं किया है उसको, उस track को उन्होंने काफी develop नहीं किया है. They just meet and they're just like, it doesn't seem that they are drawn towards each other initially, and immediately shifts to the devastation part.
No, it doesn't immediately. In fact, it's only in the last 20 minutes that they try to set up. Acha, theek hai,
I think the entire second half was all about devastation. The entire second half was all about.
I don't know. It was until I don't know. It's a spoiler, but again, until the marriage thing happens, it's only about them trying to be together and the society trying to tear them apart. But the problem here is that it's so close to Titanic, which is where I began. There is an upper caste girl who falls in love with a lower class, as in not lower class. It's about religions. And there's a fiance who's a dickhead, and then there's this whole natural calamity unfolding around them. So it's very, very close to Titanic, and which is also an iconic film. So you can draw direct references from it. Yeah.
On a lighter note, any film that does better VFX than Thugs of Hindustan for me works. I'm so horribly scarred by Thugs that I think this film, to be fair, I'll tell you what, because of the advent of social media, a lot of us unknowingly have become too cynical about anything that is homegrown. It's not a personal comment on anyone. I just feel we need to be a little more accepting of the kind of cinema that India is trying to make. Man Marzia worked for me. It may not have made the money. I don't care. The thing is, it worked. Kedarnath, in that sense, is an attempt in a certain direction, and these young actors, especially Sara,
Exactly.
are the highs of this film, I believe.
See, I would have loved the film much more had there been conversation around how the environment is going down or what led to that sort of destruction. But again, that's a different route the makers have tried to take. VFX, I was, yes, really disappointed with, because apart from a certain few scenes, it just looked like very low grade computer graphics being slapped. And I think we have seen enough, we've seen enough international cinema and calamity films happening that just doesn't hold its own ground, like quite literally. Anyway, moving further, what do you think of Sushant's performance?
Sushant was good. I mean, he was very good. I think Sushant did a good job. He is a good actor. There's no doubt. It's not just Dhoni. He's come out well.
I'm glad you say that, because for the longest time everyone said that it's still
Yeah, I think he's done a fair job. I mean, उसका role इतना नहीं था, उसमें focus इतना नहीं था. He played the underdog in the story, and or maybe the eyes were more on Sara all the time.
Yeah, maybe consciously.
But I think her screen presence is much larger than
exactly,
Sushant.
Yes. Yeah.
So she fills up the screen. You know. So the hero can't overpower her.
He doesn't stick
unless
out like
the
a
hero
sword.
is a I don't know, Ranveer or a Ranbir maybe.
Again, Vicky, that has got to do a lot with the writing that's been done.
Yeah.
The female character has been given much more prominence.
Yeah.
Which
no,
is,
but you earlier said that there are no dialogues to Sara, if you remember.
No, I said it's the repetitiveness of her writing. It's like Rumi from Manmarziyan. She's a rebel without cause. Similarly, what's happening over here is she's just agitated with her family, and she's just the only one who's sticking out like a sore thumb in the entire family for no reason until the class thing happens.
No, but the family is opposing the love affair, you see.
Yeah, but before that only she's just the odd one out. She'll go out, and I mean that's
but that's because that guy has been imposed on her. That guy who was earlier. The guy was so what if you know later?
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you have to see the movie in hindsight, no.
No. So what I'm saying is, it's just a certain kind of characters that
daddy
she writes.
of hers wants her to marry a particular man. Once उसने engagement करवा दिया है, ये करवा दिया.
That is all fair. That is
so
all
obviously
fair.
she's like, you know.
She's just a rebel.
She said, I don't care about all these people. Now, when the father doesn't care about the daughter so much about her future, and he can get me married to anybody whom I don't appreciate of, so she is rebelling.
Okay, so does this film rank at number 3 in Abhishek Kapoor's directorial films?
It definitely ranks in the worst CGI films of the year.
No, as a director. I mean, there's more to the film than CGI. Is it number 3?
No, I don't think so.
Number 2?
I don't know number 2 or number 3, but I quite enjoyed the film, to be very honest. The second half, the first half, I was a little perplexed that I thought it's going nowhere.
The one thing I felt when I walked out of the film was that people weren't uneasy. I tend to look at people around me in the last 20 minutes of a film. कि मैं देख रहा हूँ कि लोग interested है या नहीं है. I thought it held people's attention and people were watching कि अच्छा क्या
See,
हो
when
रहा
the
है.
calamity unfolded, it was because it has got. We have to realize it's a real event, and people were waiting for the reality to come out, right? And that's when, at the end, it had to come out, and when it did, people were okay. चलो ठीक है, this is what we came for. And that was the saving grace, which is also what I told you earlier, that it was a calamity that saved a disaster. It could have been a major disaster, this film, had it not been for the calamity which they showed at the end. But my point is that it's a very laborious film. There's a lot of hard work that has gone. Actors are carrying people, then they're getting drenched in rain all day long, they are in mud. So much is happening that no doubt it has gone through a lot of turmoil also otherwise, but hats off to the attempt.
Yep.
The attempt was phenomenal.
In fact, Rohit told me when I met Rohit Shetty the other day, he told me that this is the perfect launch for Sara, and you know, my film I wouldn't say is the perfect launch for Sara, because
The focus is
here it's a love story, and I think every heroine should essentially make a debut with either a woman-related theme or a love story.
I personally believe, and I don't know, you will have a more well-informed view on this. The first impression of Sara Ali Khan, how is that going to impact Simba? I believe it's going to impact Simba massively, despite the fact that there is Ranveer and there is Rohit, the big pullers and the big theatrical that we've seen. I think that should do the trick, but I think people will also be interested in the film thanks to what Sara Ali Khan has managed in Kedarnath. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, the curiosity to बहुत है लोगों को कि how is Sara done, because she's
Exactly.
Because Janvi also वही curiosity था, Sridevi's daughter at the end of the day. If you ask Sara, she's saying that my idol is Sridevi in every interview. So curiosity तो बहुत है. If you see the number of clicks those Sara's interviews are getting on the online platforms, it's all much more than expected, and like she's trending like mad, and so the public is interested in her, which also means the public has not rejected her.
I also feel as viewers, somewhere down the line we're emotional. So at times we like the celebrity more because of the acting performances, and at times we like the acting performances more because we like the celebrity so much.
I think
it tends to have a certain overlapping.
It's happened after
influence.
a long time that even before a film has come out, or even before any credible thing has come out to judge the actor, we have all accepted her just on the basis of how she was on Coffee with Karan, or she's been conducting herself in the interviews
and
or press conferences.
She seems like a fairly sorted,
Very
intelligent young girl.
No, she's
her
very,
views
very
on,
confident, because when I
views
met
on nepotism, for example.
Sorry. So go on with nepotism.
So just her views on nepotism was a breath of fresh air. She's not living in denial.
Sure.
It just shows here's a thinking actor, and we're all hoping that she has Amrita Singh and Saif Ali Khan's abilities. Of course, Sharmila Tagore as well. I think she's got the makings of being a real, genuine star within the next 5 years. I just hope she finds someone like a Karan Johar to mentor her career.
So
she already has. Karan is mentoring Janvi also, and this one also, and Ananya also, Chunky's daughter.
No, I think the arrival of Janvi and Sara will make people look at Alia as the senior star. It's one generation above.
No, so I'll tell you, when you said that, the fact that her views on nepotism are, she's very clear about what she's saying, and I found a lot of clarity also in her when I met her. What I found was that I know Amrita very well since the longest time. So she is as bold in talking like Amrita, but strangely, and this may come as a little, people may say, oh, how? Strangely, I found a lot of Kareena Kapoor in her, because I have met Kareena Kapoor when she came in that Mujhe Kuch Kehna Hai in those days, and interviewed her. So when she was talking, her way, her statements, her confidence. So there's a lot of Kareena also in her. Now don't go by the face, but the body language, the way of talking to people, because and I think she's a
Kareena Kapoor fan, self-admittedly.
But even Alia was. She's influenced by default. I mean, Kareena is in her family, so ऐसा तो नहीं Kareena को नहीं मिलती हो.
Exactly.
You see, when she meets Saif, or when she meets Taimur, or when she meets her father in particular, Kareena must be around.
So
there's a brand to be created. Her fan club, official fan club, can be called Sara Zamana. Sorry, bad word.
No, in many of her interviews, she's been saying that the Pooh was the biggest character that she ever lived with in her growing up years, and she used to imitate Kareena, and then eventually she became her father's wife and whatever.
I also feel big actors need to make sure that children get good education, because at least they will sound more intelligent.
Also, the kind of acceptance, if you go on her interviews and just scan through the comments, everybody is so positive, because again, it doesn't look like somebody undeserving is getting that attention.
Which is why I said the moment you like the celebrity's off-screen persona, you are willing to be a lot more lenient. Chal theek hai, achhi ladki hai.
Which is
we are like that as
people. Which is why in Kedarnath, I could overlook all the dialogues which were like, "Main pura asman peena chahti hu." So in a movie which is in 2018, if you say dialogues like "मैं मंदाकिनी हूँ, तो मैं पूरा आसमान पीना चाहती हूँ, मैं तुम्हें आसमान देना चाहती हूँ," and then she kisses. So that's a very tacky dialogue in 2018, wherein you're trying to establish her as the only progressive character in the entire setup, and then having to.
So what you're essentially saying is give her better lines, and she has the makings of delivering better lines in a better manner.
She could pull it off. That's a big deal for a debutante. She could have sung with those kind of lines.
But as you mentioned, this movie has got a lot of changes. So earlier there was Prerna Arora in it. She went out. And Ronnie Screwvala took over the film from her and paid apparently some 17 crores to take the movie. So obviously I am guessing he put his inputs. Abhishek Kapoor was all the time, and Abhishek Kapoor is a little angry young man, he always wants to have his own way, and I mean he's a hard taskmaster. So he's also put a lot of his, and I don't know how many people have gone back and forth on this, on the lines, on the editing, and especially the final product. So what you see, Kedarnath is indeed a movie which could have been a lot better. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
But it's not
bad
disaster
either.
that the cynics are saying.
It's not bad either. It's just that it could have been much more better.
No, but the movie is costly. It's 50 plus. So you need some 90 to 100 back to, you know, for people to say that.
But listen,
but that's not going to happen. So
I also think we as movie loving public, I mean, of course you're in the business of writing reviews and so on, and you know, you have an opinion, but I just think the average movie goer needs to stop obsessing over 100 crores and 80 crores and 60 crores and 50 crores.
Yeah.
We are talking about whether we accept a film star or not,
Sure.
whether the product is great or not. So I think even in our podcasts, if possible, you know, we should keep the trade side aside, because trade is a completely different conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Trade will depend on when the film releases, which film it is clashing with, how many screens. Now that's the business side of it,
Yeah.
which the front benchers or the single screen goers or the multiplex goers don't really care a damn about. And I think as a practice, as a culture in our conversations, we need to keep this 100 crore nonsense aside, because even a houseful makes money despite being trash. Even a Humshakal
And
will
so
make
does
money.
Race 3.
Exactly. Race 3 is a prime example of a trashy film making big money. And so I think as film people or people in the business or just as film lovers, we need to keep this aside. And therefore my only 2 pennies or 2 cents for this film are, in Sara Ali Khan, we've found someone who can do some really, really big work in the times to come. Just hope she gets the right filmmakers and slightly better scripts, as you said.
Also, what I loved about the movie was cinematography, and that had a lot to do with Kedarnath being at the center of it, and just the shots of Kedarnath. The entire trip is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And as a northerner, it just makes me feel like going back to mountains and have a trip there. But it's so cool to see the actual trip, which most of us wouldn't know.
So credit to the DOP Tushar Kanti Ray, who's done a stellar job of those really sweeping frames.
Exactly, it's very difficult to get that kind of water into the frame and then get the actors to emote like that. It's a very laborious film to mount. Anyway, alright, on that note, we'll wrap up. Bye bye.